Thanks for being here. So we'll start with our seated position, connecting to breath. Feeling the hands soften. Let the eyes feel quite light. You might inquire into your body, supplicate what is most needed. And so this is a question that we can pose to our body, our cells, our soma. So I invite you to just have that question, kind of place it before body. And we'll give these several breaths, these moments, so that you can hear how your body responds, if your cells, your body respond. And let this practice be that medicine that your body prescribes for you. So maybe you need to work in a particular fashion or pay attention to a certain area. Okay. So we let the body lead. So these first several moves in our pranayama will kind of work together. Let's cross the left over the right. So leg cross or half lotus. We'll start with the right arm. Inhaling. We'll turn the right palm up. This can be out to the side. And exhaling, I'm going to rotate my arm. So my thumb goes downwardly, my bicep reaches down. I'm reaching my arm forward. Okay. I'm going to do those two movements. So as I inhale, I'm going to turn my palm up. And I'm reaching my right hand to my right side. So I can get a little bit of that chest lift, chest muscles. And then exhaling, I'll reach forward as I'm rolling my thumb down, my bicep down. Do that twice more. I just want you to feel how the shoulder blade is part of this spiraling pattern. Letting the arm reach forward. Perhaps the shoulder blade reaches forward. And on this next exhalation, as we're reaching the right arm forward, we'll move left into the twist, or we'll twist left. So then you can just set that right hand wherever it's most suited for the seated spinal twist. And inhaling, we'll release, unwind. We'll switch the cross of our legs, and we'll do this move on the other side. It's a rotational move for the arm and the shoulder. And then it becomes a twist. All right, so I'll start with the left arm, inhaling, reaching the left arm to the left, and palm rolls up. And then exhaling, sweeping my left arm to reach forward, thumb rolls down. Now, yesterday we did a little play of the arm being distinct from the shoulder blade, the arm bone being connected to the shoulder blade. You can play with them both. But once that shoulder blade starts to kind of go with the arm bone, you'll start to feel that spiraling, that twist. And so here we go on this next exhalation. You're reaching the fingertips forward, turning the thumb down. Let that reach. Just take you directly into seated twist. And inhaling, unwind. When we come back centrally, we'll switch the cross of our legs. Once again, having the left over the right. So you select, this could be cross-legged, half lotus, shoelace, knee pile. I'm going with a knee pile, just because. And we'll be moving into eagle. Inhale, reach the arms out to the side. Reach them up overhead. Exhaling, we'll go right elbow over left. And inhaling, unwind. And once again, we'll switch sides. Just one move. I've got a right over left cross. Inhale, taking the arms out to the side. And draw them up overhead. Exhaling the left elbow over the right. Eagle. And inhale, unwind. When we lie on our back, we'll be working twisted root abs. So, from lying, we'll go left knee over right knee. If no pain presents, you can cross the foot behind the calf. Otherwise, we simply omit. And now both halves of the sacrum remain on the ground. And check it out for yourself. When we cross our legs like this, one half of the pelvis may feel weightier than the other. So use your abdominals so that there's even weight distribution. And now inhale, float the head and the shoulder blades up. And exhaling, shift the tailbone. Press the thigh into the thigh, encouraging that rotation through the thigh bone and the hip socket. And then draw the low belly down. Inhaling. And then on exhale, the tailbone shift. Feel the weight distributed across the back of the pelvis and sacrum. The legs can press, drawing the low belly down. We'll do another inhale. And exhale. The tailbone shifts. The pressure of the thigh bones is kind of intimating at rotation. Thigh bone rotation. So you get a feel for that. And then draw the low belly down. And then we'll inhale, we'll set the head down, uncross the legs, and we'll switch the cross of the legs. So we're right over left. The foot behind calf hook is optional. Feel the weight distribution across the back of the pelvis. Ensure it feels steady, even. So, yep. And then we'll, with hands behind head, inhale the head and shoulder blades up. And exhaling, then feel the tailbone, working the legs as if rotating them. So there's pressure that intimates at rotation. Draw the low belly down. Good. We'll do these next two. Inhale. And exhale. Pressure. Intimates rotation. Tailbone movement. Intimates at lengthening the low back. Pull low belly down. Last one on your own. There you go. Yes, active feet, of course, helps protect the knees. And keeping that weight across the back of the pelvis is kind of interesting to me in the abdominals. It does not feel like symmetrical abdominal work. To me, it doesn't. Now, when we unwind, we're going to do a round of gate opener, kind of like we did yesterday. So we can remain lying, choose the prop. Maybe you have a roll by you. I'm just going to go with a block, a foam block. And inhaling into the low back. And give that prop a little squeeze. Curling the tailbone, exhale, head and the shoulder blades off the ground. Continuing the squeeze, let that squeeze help you feel, find, and engage with the entire rest of the inner leg. Draw the low belly down. Place a hand on the prop. Inhale, separating the legs to feel the legs unsqueeze. Exhaling, curling the tailbone, reaching out through the legs, spreading the foot bones. Draw low belly down. Inhale, bring the legs together. As you set the head down, keep bringing the legs together until they begin the squeeze. Keep the squeeze, curl tailbone, exhale, float the head and the shoulder blades up. Continue the squeeze, continue gathering the legs toward each other, lengthening up through the inner legs. Keep gathering and reaching. Draw the low belly down. Use your other hand, hold the prop. Inhale as you separate the legs. Feel the squeeze unsqueezing. Actually tracking the releasing of the squeeze. Exhale, tailbone shifts, reach out through the legs. Draw the low belly down. We'll do one more pair. So inhaling as I'm drawing the legs together, set the head down. Continue drawing the legs together, even though they stop moving at the prop. Keep the squeeze coming, keep it coming. Keep squeezing the legs together, keep drawing the legs together, keep drawing the legs together. Curl tailbone, exhale, float the head and the shoulder blades up. And as you continue drawing the legs together, let that ring through the inner leg, the inner calf, the inner ankle, the instep. Draw low belly down. Hand on prop, and now inhale, feel the releasing and the separating of that squeeze. Rather, the separating of the legs, releasing the squeeze. Exhaling, curl tailbone, outreaching. Draw the low belly down. All right, inhale, bring the legs together, set the head down. Exhale, the feet down. When we turn to a side, we'll prep for dolphin. So from that hands and knees position, place our forearms so it best suits our shoulders. With the toes curled under, inhale into the sides of the ribs, the back of the ribs. So here I'm reaching those arm bones forward. Exhaling the knees off the ground. Now, as you're listening to your breath, as you're feeling your breath in this dolphin, there may be a how to address the body energetically. There may be a what to pay attention to with interest and care and support. So how do you address these cellular requests, these cellular needs? Is it a way that we shape our attention within our body? Is it a way that we breathe and work with our energy? So when we inquire into our soma, into our body, how is it that I should be with you today? How is it that we should engage this practice? What is the best medicine? How can I be of greatest support? And your body may answer, it may slowly start to answer and reciprocate. How does that take form within your practice? Is it the way that we attend? Is it the way that we breathe? Is it the way that we effort? Now, I don't know the answers for your body, of course, but what's important is that it take form, right? This is at the heart of embodiment. How do I embody that response, that reciprocation? Three deep breaths. Maybe they need to be gentle and voluminous. Maybe it requires an ultra steady degree of focused concentration. And then gently, we'll set the knees down out of dolphin, exiting dolphin rather. Slip the hands under the shoulders. On your next exhalation, we'll press back into downward dog. Triangle. Inhale, step the left foot forward. Triangle is a straight-legged stance. The bottom, the left side of the ribs, and positioning so this is lengthy. And then drawing the right arm up. If you squeeze the glutes, the butt muscles first, there's a likelihood that this bottom part of your rib cage and this diaphragm area is kind of bunched up. If you kind of set up the triangle, the torso, and then start to engage the muscles thereafter, you might find that you can breathe dynamically through those, with those ribs, so they're not so bunched up. Bending the left knee. I'm going to set the left hand down to block or to ground for extended warrior. At the same time, I'm walking my right foot out a little bit so as to deepen the stance, to widen apart the feet. Now that right arm reaches overhead. I'm still lengthening that left side of ribs, still lengthening it out. Inhale, bring that right hand down, exhaling chaturanga. We'll step the left foot back, and we'll lower all the way down to the ground. Cobra, inhaling into the abdomen. So we're also, in effect, breathing under the spine. As we pick the chest up, exhaling, lower downward dog. Triangle. Inhale the right foot forward. So again, we can set this up with supple legs, lengthening through the trunk, and then we can engage the leg muscles thereafter. If you have back or sacral issues, you may have to use that high tension strategy to move in and out of these poses. So sometimes really deeply, strongly engaging the butt is helpful in extremely painful situations. But if you don't have a painful back, let's just play with setting up the torso, lengthening out, and then engaging, dialing up the legs, pressing, reaching through the heel of the palm. All right, here's that extended warrior. So inhaling, bending the right knee, palming the floor or block, walking that left leg back a little bit, and then reaching the left arm overhead. And again, in that transition, I'm not trying to arch my left side of ribs. I'm still lengthening out the right side of the ribs, the bottom side. Because my palm is kind of stopping any downward movement, I can kind of press a little bit. I can send my right ribs toward the ground. My palm will stop my motion. My right ribs can lengthen out. So if you've got that right hand down, it's almost like you can press the torso down a little bit. That's it, that's it, that's it. Just a funny little play. Inhale, we'll bring that left hand down to the ground. Exhaling, chaturanga. And we'll step back, just lower all the way down. Cobra. Inhale. Exhaling, lower, downward dog. Inhale, step the left foot forward. And we'll take this interlock warrior in steps. So I'm first palming the ground. This could also be palming a block. Again, it depends on my hip, my groin. I'm going to start by palming a surface down there to lengthen out the left side of the ribs. And start by reaching just the right arm behind the back. Keeping those left side ribs lengthy, lift the left arm under the thigh. Release, inhale, unwind. Now step the right foot forward as we move into pyramid. So I'm both walking the right foot forward and turning the toes more forward than they were. You can use your leg or block, again, to lengthen out the trunk. I'm just playing with this lengthening out as I'm kind of intimating at pressing my bottom side down. This furthers the creasing and the folding that occurs in the groin and the hips. So to me, these feel like very different poses than usual. Vertical splits. Inhale, move the hands forward several inches or onto blocks several inches forward. And we'll lift the right leg skyward. Now I realize our legs are nowhere near crossing each other or contacting each other, but I'm intimating at that twisting root abs. I'm kind of tweezing and hugging the inner legs as if toward each other, around each other. It's like I'm going to entwine my inner legs. Of course, they aren't really moving in space, but I think that will create a major support. For me to do this with my active left foot, I find it's better to keep the big toe down. So I'm creating all of that arch and all of that active foot with my big toe down, at least my big toe down. You'll still feel that arch, you'll still feel that whole inner leg kind of pulling and kneading the ground. You can feel that draw from the sole of the foot, tensioning, torsioning, spiraling up through the left groin. It's a lot of spiraling in the body. Inhale, we'll set the right foot down well behind us. Exhale, step left foot back, lowering all the way down. Cobra, inhale. Exhaling, lower downward dog. All right, inhale the right foot forward. Here's that interlock warrior. I'm breaking this apart a little bit, the entry into the pose, by palming the ground so that I can kind of press, kind of depressing my rib cage downward, lengthening the right side of the ribs. So depressing downward. It's not a squashing word, but I'm lengthening the right side of the ribs. The left hand goes behind the back. We'll start there. And this may be a suitable form for you. And then I can lift the right arm under the right thigh. So again, I'm kind of pressing my torso groundward to lengthen the right side of the ribs. My legs are pressing tremendously to stay afloat in those hip sockets. To me, I think this gets the physical point across of how strongly the torso can fold toward the thigh and the thigh can press toward the torso. We'll release for pyramid. So let the hands go. We'll straighten front leg, step the back foot, the left foot forward. And I'm also turning that left foot inwardly a little bit. Now use the leg, use your block, use your props. Instead of rounding, lifting the ribs up toward the sky, you might just play around with, what if someone were kind of pressing my torso down and the front of my body lengthened out. You don't have to go lower, just lengthen out. And here's that vertical splits. Inhale, we'll send the hands forward. Elevating left leg. And inhaling, set the left foot down. Exhaling, chaturanga. I'm going to lower all the way down for cobra. Inhale. Exhaling, lower, downward dog. And it's here I'd like to recommend that we head over to a wall for some downward dog on the wall variations. So I'm going to be selecting for piking. So I'm going to do a couple different forms. One is downward dog on the wall. And I'm going to, let's do that first. Okay. So I will talk us through downward dog on the wall with the option of drawing one foot toward one wrist. Optional. And then we'll have the option of kicking up into handstand if that's amenable to you, and if not, I'll give you another option. But let's begin in downward dog at the wall. So we'll talk through this in stages, and first stage is just the one that we most commonly know, downward dog on the wall, that right angle shape. So we inhale, step a foot up, exhale, bring the other foot to the same altitude. So option one, body at a right angle. You can remain right here. If this is all that your strength dictates or your hands dictate that you can do today, perfect. One possibility is to draw one foot toward the wrist. So you're folding quite deeply and then replacing that foot back to the wall. And then repeating that on the other side. It's a bit of a holding process. So it's a folding and even a holding. So the more I fold, the more necessary it is to press through the arms and to keep the torso lengthy. So that's really the point I hope that is being made here. And just try it a few times on each foot. The foot may not even come close to touching the wrist. The point is that you're creating that fold action at the hip, and the arms are pressing very strongly to keep the torso long. I'm holding it for like a breath or so. Good. And there's going to be different levels of strength and utility in these variations. So there you go. There you go. Great. So let's say you're kind of working that downward dog at the wall toward its end. I want to offer number 2 at the wall. If you're kicking up into handstand, you'll practice piking down. Now, if that's not in your repertoire today, then what you can do is you can do some chest opener on the wall, which will provide some wrist relief. And you can also work, so chest opener plus a straddle fold with your butt leaned up against the wall. Okay. Okay. So no matter which version you choose, I'll say those again, handstand, straddling the legs, piking down, or doing some chest opener plus folding, leaning against the wall. Each group will have their legs apart and their torso moving between the legs. Okay, so let me say that again. If you're kicking up into handstand and you have a large amount of wall space, you'll straddle the legs and pike downward. Otherwise, we'll do some chest opener on the wall, then in straddle, butt leaning against wall, fold. Here we go. There you go. Right. For those of you kicking up, handstand, right, my hands are like within an inch, maybe 2 inches from the wall. That allows me to continually lean into the wall as I'm folding my legs toward my torso. That leaning back is necessary when we start doing the piking stuff. So we'll give it a few more breath moments. All right, so as you're finishing your version of straddle and folding at the wall, when you're ready to move back to your mat, we'll be working shoulder stand and then shavasana. If you have any issues with shoulder stand, we can omit it. Go right to shavasana. Or if you know how to prop it up, or use the wall, you can use those alternatives. So before I go up into shoulder stand, I find it helpful to begin with the shoulders in a position that feels good relative to my head and my neck. And then bringing the legs up, the hips up. And then from shoulder stand, we can lower out for Shavasana. And so when we come to rest, at least kinetic rest, the doing of poses ceases. And perhaps by contrast, that helps illuminate the being, the awareness, the simple presence, that being in our body, being the awareness that our body is in, is enough. Right? So allow the doing to cease to find out what else is there. So the doing might include still continuing to do little exercises or manipulations or movements or resets but who are we without the task, without the pose? There's something there. So let's bend knees. We'll turn to a side. And we'll press up to seated. Namaste.